Hello and welcome back to Faster and Louder. It has been a minute since I've done an actual video. I think at this point right here, it's been just over 2 months since I've actually recorded and put together an entire video. And I have recorded some stuff. I have some things that may or may not see the light of day. I've been doing a lot of work on the heat and AC on the Javelin. I took all this stuff out, all the AC, all the heat stuff. It's all out of the car right now. And I went through a lot of work getting that stuff restored. And I'm gonna try to put something together about that, but no guarantees. What I'm going to do today is completely different, and I'll fill you in a little bit on what this is all about. Going back to like 2018, I believe, or 2019, something like that, I got a 74 Javelin AMX. It was green. It came with a 304 originally. I put a 360, rebuilt 360 in it, and we got some work done on it. It was a decent running and driving vehicle. I had that for maybe just about 2 years total. Only actually maybe drove it around for like a year or so. But long story short, I had the car and I sold it on consignment somewhere, and the new owners got it and had it for maybe 2 or 3 months, and they wrecked it and it got completely totaled. So fast forward a couple of years, and I found out that the car was being parted out like 70 miles south of me, which is like insane. You know, it's a pretty big country that we live in. It sold in Wisconsin and got delivered to California, and then ended up with a salvage guy 70 miles south of me. It's just insane. But I later ended up actually getting like the hood release latch from that car. Like I actually saw it in person, and it was a pretty sad sight, to be honest. But I got the hood release latch from that car and put it in my current 73 Javelin AMX. Has 401 and everything, so definitely check out those videos if you haven't already. I got that out of there, and then recently I was kind of looking around since I got the heat and AC. I'm like, you know, I like the rear window louver look, but it's actually kind of functional here in Arizona because it keeps some of the sun out of the car. So I was thinking it'd actually be pretty cool to get louvers again. And I made a post on Facebook asking about it, and someone actually said that they bought those actual louvers that were on my green Javelin. They bought those and they've just been holding on to them because they don't really have anything to use them on. So I got in touch with them, and I'm on my way to actually buy the old louvers that were on my 74 Javelin. It's crazy, and I think it's really cool that I'm gonna have like another piece of my Javelin, my old Javelin, on my current Javelin. So right now I am heading to pick up Randy. We're obviously not in the Javelin, but we're gonna go pick up Randy right now, and we're heading to Gila Bend, which is about halfway between Phoenix and Yuma, where this guy lives. So we're gonna meet up right now, and I'm gonna pick those up. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to put them on the Javelin today, unfortunately, because it's still at AZ AMC Restorations right now, getting a lot of like final work for the AC on it. But when I get it back, I'm gonna put those things on there, and I think it's gonna look really cool. And yeah, I'm just super excited that I get another little piece of my old car on there. I just think that's awesome. So anyways, let's pick up Randy. remember this place. There ain't crap out here. Oh, there's some expected metal sculpture stuff for your front yard. This is weird, man.
Oh, is this a
what do people out here do? If you know what people do in Gila Bend, then you gotta leave that in the comments, because I have no idea what they do. Just go hang out at the local Goodyear over here, I guess. Smoke a cigarette.
No, they go to the McDonald's. That's all the way up there.
Oh, man. All right. Here we go. Got them in my possession. I'm gonna have to try to figure out how these actually mount again exactly. I think that these go underneath the chrome trim around the back window, but I'll figure it out one way or another. And it looks like there's just some double-sided tape that goes on each of these. I'm just gonna make sure everything is all good, obviously, before I put them back on the car, but we'll get to that in just a minute. So Cam and I, and Randy and I, afterwards we're talking about just like finding AMC parts in general. Like, it's really interesting because I was kind of making the point that like in Arizona specifically, I feel like there's only like maybe a dozen AMC guys that it's like once you've met all of them, then you already know all of them. You've met all 12 people that are building AMCs or specifically Javelins in a given area. It's just it's interesting. We were talking about trying to find like the switches and stuff like that, things that go on a dash, and like a lot of it they don't make those replacement parts at all. So your only hope in replacing like a bad one would be to just find a good condition used one. And you know, it's hard finding the parts sometimes, but sometimes it's even harder paying for them, just because you know, some people really just want to get as much money for something as possible because they've been hoarding parts and they don't want to part with it. And yeah, they want their money. So that's unfortunate sometimes. But my experience personally has been that usually these guys, they're typically older and they just want to see somebody fix the car and get it back on the road. So those people are the cool ones. And I think that they're the ones that are most helpful when it comes to keeping well, AMCs or any old car alive, really, because you know, if you make it more affordable and more available for people, then that's never going to be a bad thing. And I've definitely had situations like that myself more than once, where somebody's like cut me a really good deal on something that I'm looking for, or just making it available in the first place. And I don't know, people are turned away from AMCs and a lot of old cars because they can't find parts. Like, they cite parts availability as an issue, but I mean, I challenge you to find any old car where you can just go to the parts store and buy 95% of the parts over the counter anymore, because you can't. Like, you just can't do that anymore. Even like GM power steering pumps and stuff, a lot of times like you're gonna have to wait overnight or something. Like, you can't just like walk in and buy one anymore. It's not like that. So it's really not that much different than owning any other old car. But yeah, that conversation comes up a lot, and I think it's interesting. Oh, a little bit of an update here, guys. Kind of seems weirdly placed, I think, in this video, but I got all my AC and heater core stuff back in here. So I took out these boxes. I was gonna make a huge video about this whole thing, about rebuilding it, and then I lost a lot of my footage. I lost 2 videos worth of footage on one card. It physically got broken in half, the memory card. So here we are. But yeah, I rebuilt the entire box, like the heater core and the evaporator box, which is way back in here, for the AC stuff. But it was a huge undertaking. I had AZ AMC Restorations. There's a guy named Nate over there. Shout out to Nate. He's a really cool dude. Helped me out a lot with this. Anyways, I got all this stuff working. The heat is working. I still need to get the hoses reattached. I need to obviously put a lot of the dash back together, and I'm about to do that here in just a minute. But getting back to the main subject of this video here, let's go inside here really quick. Okay, so these louvers. There was some old adhesive and stuff, probably shouldn't have just touched it. These are bare metal right now. I took like my wire wheel on my drill and just cleaned it off really good, and then took some alcohol and whatnot and cleaned it off with that. Did the same for all these pads. It's basically just 4 pads, and these need like adhesive on it, or like double-sided tape. And then these kind of like hook underneath the trim also, that's like already on the car. So I tried to get some stuff here, some of this like padded seal tape stuff, whatever you want to call it, and it's not really sticking super good. I might use like longer pieces or something. I just wanted to put tape here because this is kind of flexible, and I didn't want this like banging into the window and stuff. So I might try to figure out something a little better, just do like longer strips like this or something so it actually holds better. But I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get the double-sided tape on there, which is this. It's 3M. I had a different roll right here. It's like heavy duty, but it's like super narrow. So I just went to the hardware store and found this, but it's extreme indoor outdoor. So I've heard of people having bad luck just using regular 3M double-sided tape. Like their louvers will literally fly off down the road. I do not want that to happen, so I'm gonna try to take every precaution that I can. This says 30 pounds. This shouldn't really be getting any kind of lift while on the road, but combined, we'll see, 30, 60, 90, 120, I think will be pretty good. So anyways, I'm gonna get this all set up. I'm gonna clean the window where it's gonna go with some alcohol also, and then I'm going to place it, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. These tabs, like I was talking about, they kind of slide underneath the trim here, and my trim's not like super tight. Maybe I could have gotten slightly thicker butyl tape or something to make this stick up a little bit further, make it tighter between the glass and the trim. But it fits underneath there, and it's not super tight, but I got it in there like pretty much as far as I could get it and try to straighten it up. And then these little tabs under here, I don't know if you can see, let's see. Yeah, there's little tabs right there. That's where the tape was on top of it. So I kind of like had them lifted up and then peeled the little layer off of it so it would stick, and kind of just stuck it down where it was. So I didn't have to like put the whole thing down exactly where it was supposed to be and mess around with these tabs and all that. Now this, I don't know if that's gonna rub or not. This little spot right here, I'm not really that concerned with it because well, have you seen the rest of the car? You know, I got big dents and a little bit of rust here and there, like, you know, just a big chunk out of the quarters. So yeah, needless to say, I'm not super concerned about that. But I think, I mean, you probably could even like slide this down just a little bit and get a little bit of coverage, but that's just nitpicking at this point. So right now, these actually pivot, these top ones. So what I'm gonna do is lift the entire louver up, and I'm going to take the backing off of these pads over here, and I'm just going to stick it back down. Oh, and before I show you the louvers, look at this. I got the grille screen back on. I polished it up a little bit. It still looks like crap, but I painted the actual screen and kind of like bent it back into shape a little bit here and there, and looks pretty good. I'd say it looks better than, you know, without it. But anyways, let's check this out. Got the louvers on. I just love this look, man. It just looks perfect on this car. It really was an internal debate on whether I should paint these first and then put them back on. But honestly, I'm kind of glad that I left it the way that they are, because it's nice and weathered. Looks great. Dude, this looks awesome. I just love that like 70s 80s muscle car look. It's just really coming together too. I just love it, man. It's got that grill back on there, so it looks a little more actually assembled the way that it's supposed to be. And speaking of assembled, I have all this dash stuff that I had to put back in, and I had to kind of just gotta look at it, you know, just look at it and try to figure out how all this actually goes back together. Because it's not as obvious as you would think. I've I think I was going to mention in my video that got deleted, like how you take all the dash stuff out. I can give you a quick overview really quick right now. I'll try to show you / remember at the same time. So the one part that always catches me up is this panel here. I don't know what you want to call it, like a splash guard, I don't know. But this has to come out because you have to be able to take the kick panel out, and you got to take the kick panel out to get to all this stuff that covers the dash up here. So it's a lot of like this bone's connected to this bone kind of crap. But yeah, I'm gonna get all this back together. I got some new hardware. You know, this is like $20 worth of hardware at Ace Hardware. Friggin' ridiculous. But I'm gonna try to get it back together properly and make sure my dash stuff is working. I have one light that's like the one on the top left, and it keeps like, it's just a bad connection, so it keeps randomly not working and whatnot. So I'm gonna have to kind of keep an eye on that. But yeah, I'm glad that hopefully, at least for a while, I'll just be done messing with this dash. Oh my god, I'll be so happy if I don't have to do anything with this for at least like a year, you know? Even a year would be just magical. I forgot that I need to put these vents back into the dash kind of as I go. So I need to figure out the best way to do that. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. These like outer housings, the rectangular piece has clips that are built on. You basically just slide them in and then they clip into the little ends here. But one big thing though was when I took this off, all but one of these was like completely broken or frozen up. So I found these on a Facebook group for AMC stuff. It's kind of just like I mentioned earlier in this video. The community and just finding people that'll help you out is awesome. And this guy's from he's overseas. I think he's from, I'm probably wrong, but he's from like Sweden or something, one of those like Scandinavian-ish countries. His name, which I'm also going to butcher, is I believe it's like Bore, something of that nature. It's B-O-R-R-E. Really sorry I'm butchering your name, dude. I'm an American. Anyways, he makes these from scratch. These, like the actual vent, the piece that moves inside of this housing. These have been unavailable, you know, for years and years, and he makes them, 3D prints these, and sells them as a set. I'm not sure if he sells them individually. He makes some other stuff too. He's trying to just make a lot of these reproduction parts that you can't find. So a huge shout out to him. He cut me a deal on shipping also. So I just wanted to put it out there. If you have a 71 through 74 Javelin and you're looking for these vents and you can't find them, then you got to hit him up on Facebook. His name, B-O-R-R-E, and last name Olson. So in order to take these in and out, you kind of just do reverse operation. So taking these out is basically opposite of what I'm doing. I got it sitting here. But usually this is like the last thing to come out once you get like most of the dash apart, kind of like how it is right now. This stuff down here, there's bolts down here. We replaced one of them. Mine's kind of in poor condition, the plastic here, but there's like a bracket underneath with 2 bolts like this that actually just hold the centerpiece in just by itself. This has screws that are along the top of this here, and that bolts to the dash pad, or screws to the dash pad. There's the radio knobs have to come off in order for this to come out also. As you can see, there's little holes there for it and everything. It's basically held on with the knobs just for the radio. There's actually supposed to be a bracket here also, but I'm probably not going to reattach it. There's a piece on all the toggle switches, or like the panel surround, I guess you could call it, for the switches. There's some screws here on the bottom of the dash inlay that screw in through that. It's obviously not in place right now. There's the slots for the toggle switches. You have to pull the toggle knobs off first in order to get it off. You can use like a 90-degree screwdriver to get like up on the side. There's like a notch on these knobs, and you kind of like push on it in a certain way and pull up, and the knobs come off. there's this panel, this black panel right here. This is kind of just like a brace and a place for things to screw in and whatnot. And then pretty much once you have it at this point, you're ready to put the dash pad in. But once you get the dash pad in, there's like that other little plastic piece here, which is held on with that trim that goes across here, like where the grab handle is and everything. Those kind of like all bolt in through together, and that's why this structural piece here is important. I think that's pretty much it. There's really not a lot. There's some screws along the top where the dash is actually supposed to secure into like the firewall, I guess you could call it. I think that mine are all pretty much broken. But I got some longer screws, so I'm gonna give it another shot. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Kick panels go back in. Once the kick panel's in, the very last thing you're gonna do is put in this guard, splash guard, whatever you want to call it, kick guard. And I think that pretty much wraps it up for how to put in and take out the dash. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about it, so there you go. I think it's time to get a car wash. There's my Bluetooth. So yeah, it's been a lot of work. Finally got the dash all back together. There's still obviously a couple things I need to do to kind of like, you know, tie up some loose ends, make it look a little bit better, whatever. But I did get the screws in the top of the dash that I was thinking that they were broken, but I think I just didn't have long enough screws or something, or the right size the last time I actually tried to get screws in there. So, you know, it's a little more secure now, so that's always good. But yeah, I'm actually working on another video right now that is all about just like tuning the car. I did have a Holly 670 carburetor on it previously, vacuum secondaries and all that, and I took that off after spending a lot of time and money getting it right, and I got it about as right as you can get it, I think. Like the AFR was great, it performed pretty decent, but it just didn't respond the way that I was wanting it to. So I get into that quite a bit in the next video, and I'm almost done with that one, so you should be seeing that one pretty shortly. There's still a lot of stuff that I want to do on a car, and I'll go over just a couple things really quick. One of them, the fuel line underneath the car. It's all like 7/16 or something like that instead of 3/8 or 1/2 inch, so that's a restriction. I'm going to change probably to a 1/2 inch all braided line and all that, so that's another project that's coming up pretty soon. And I also really want to do some dent repair. I'll show that to you really quick before we end this video. So if you've been following along, you probably know about this, or you've at least seen it before, but both the quarters, it looks like somebody tried to squeeze into a garage or something that was too narrow and just like push these in right on the freaking body line, and it's like all wavy and denty and, you know, all kinds of stuff there. And then the worst part is the rot here near the bottom, and it actually goes like all the way through, so the inside is kind of messed up too. I do have some patch panels. I may have to get another one, or maybe just some regular sheet metal and kind of just like shape it however I need it or whatever, but it's just as bad pretty much on the other side. Actually, the rust is even worse. This is just dirt where a bunch of stuff came out of there last time I cleaned it. But I do want to try to tackle some of that myself though. I know that Harbor Freight has a stud gun that you can like pull out dents with like a slide hammer and stuff, so I'm not gonna get super in depth on that, but I do want to do that in the future. Please leave a comment if you like the video, like it. Please subscribe also if you haven't already, and I will be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you for watching. Later.